just today, and I don't want to say today because, this is a topic that I think once, when this airs and we post it, it won't have happened today. But the United Healthcare CEO was gunned down, fatally shot.
Yeah.
Today, this morning, that just happened. I have to say this morning because it just happened this morning. So when we were planning what we would talk about for this episode, I saw that and I was like, oh my God, this is...
In Midtown Manhattan. And
this looks like a hit.
And I saw that the NYPD posted a reward of $10,000 for any information leading to the shooter who shot him in broad daylight with a silencer on his gun in Midtown Manhattan.
Fled on a bike. On a bike.
Yeah. But it's crazy because in Midtown Manhattan, if you don't live in New York and you're watching from other places or you're listening, on your podcast, wherever you get your podcasts, in New York, since 9/11, they have the most robust security that you can possibly imagine. They have cameras on every street, post, light, everything that you could imagine, surveillance, things that zoom in, things that you don't even know about, especially since 9/11. They have the most robust security system in New York City, especially in Midtown, because that's over there where that shooting took place was by Rockefeller Center, where the Christmas tree lighting happens. You see it on your TV, very tourist place. That is supposed to be like the most secure place in New York City.
Right.
How that happened and he got out of the way, he did not get caught is unimaginable to me.
I was so shocked at this story. And let me just say, this is 50-year-old Brian Thompson, who was the CEO of United Healthcare. I want to say that, and condolences to his family because it's, I know it's such a big story.
Yeah, I'm looking at his picture right now on my phone.
It's kind of spreading online, and there's a lot of insensitive comments, but, this man lost his life, and I'm sure he has a family that's going through it right now. So condolences to them. But a lot of people were likening this to like an SVU episode, right?
Yeah.
Because of how it played out, right?
Yeah.
You were talking about the gunman. He's fleeing on bike. Like, there's cameras everywhere. It's broad daylight. He was on his way to a conference. Like, the gunman was waiting for him.
It
So this
definitely was a setup. It definitely was a hit.
Big hit. Like, it didn't.
Yeah.
It's not just like some.
And my husband and I was talking this morning, and we were like, who would have wanted him dead?
I mean,
unless it was like someone who, maybe somebody that, their loved ones didn't have the proper medical. I don't know. You know what? I don't even want to assume anything.
I don't want to assume anything either. And the reason why if we were speculating, the reason why I wouldn't go that route, right, is because of the way it played out, being that it's so calculated, right? Like, this guy got away on a bike with a silencer. Like, all of these details make it seem to me like it was someone who
knew what they were doing?
Knew what they were doing, right? Because I'm sure the healthcare companies and all of the criticism that they get, right? A lot of people hate the healthcare system in this country, but it feels like such a bigger play.
Yeah, it just seems like really crazy.
So it's a developing story. So I mean, I definitely think it's one that I'll be following because I was like, how did that just happen?
Yeah. And we must send our prayers to his family. Speaking of developing stories, over the holiday break, Diddy went before a judge in his third attempt to get bail. And they proposed more restrictions to the judge, and he still denied him bail. Now, this is a second judge.
Yes, this is a different judge.
His bail case, because the first judge recused himself. And the district attorney who brought the charges against him has also stepped down. So this is like a whole new set of people. So he argued his case, and the prosecution argued their case and said that if Diddy was to be released, they felt like he would intimidate witnesses. And so that's why they were pushing for him not to have a bond. So ultimately, the judge did agree with the prosecution and decided to keep him behind bars.
Right. I really thought that he was going to get out this time.
I thought so too.
Really thought that. One of the reasons is because they did not decide right there. So the judge held, he got
for like a week or so, right? Yeah.
And it was before the holidays. And so I was like, oh, they're going to let him out for Thanksgiving, right? And I don't know. I think everyone felt like that. His family went to court that day. They were there. And I just was like, okay, if the defense attorneys, if they keep trying and they're like, now they're saying, okay, we've got security checking out this apartment where we're going to hold him. It just felt like
and they also
he was going to get out.
And they also argued, too, that he didn't have adequate technology in prison to work on his case that is coming up in 2025, May of 2025. Right. So they needed him out to be able to adequately work on his case.
Right.
So I guess the judge wasn't buying it. In addition to that, he was also hit with another $10 million lawsuit.
With the dangling over the balcony or whatever?
A young lady is suing him for abuse. She allegedly says that, they got into a physical altercation. He dangled her over the balcony, then threw her into the balcony furniture. And now she's suing him for emotional distress and all types of other things for $10 million.
I mean, these cases keep piling up for him.
But these cases are piling up for him, but it also is now starting to become a thing with his children. I don't know if you saw, but his son was also hit with a sexual assault lawsuit.
Yes,
Christian Combs. This woman is claiming that they were on a yacht and he groped her and he took a liking to her early on in the event that happened that night when he first spotted her. He was very aggressive to her. She alleged that he put something in her drink and he was like forcing her to drink that night and he was groping her and he was doing things to her that she basically resented and was saying, stop, I don't want you to do these things. So this is what this woman is now alleging. And then his other son has now been banned from renting homes in California.
I saw that. There's just so much.
Justin Combs, right? Yeah. So it's like whatever is happening with him is starting to have a trickle effect with his children.
Yeah.
And it's just like a lot going on.
It's too much almost.
Yeah.
And it's hard to follow all of this. Like there's so many allegations against him, now his sons. It's like,
but see, it goes back to what I said before. It's like you have to be very, very conscious on how you live your life. Because you don't know what that impact will have, not just on you, but also your children.
Yeah.
So you gotta be very careful on how you live your life. Because when that boomerang happens, it doesn't just boomerang back to you, but it also impacts everyone around you.
But I will say I was really shocked that they didn't let him out on bond this time. And I think that the Abercrombie & Fitch CEO being let out on bond is what made me think, all right, well, they're going to let him out because it's going to feel a little racially motivated if they, don't, or at least those are the accusations that people were saying online, right? Like, oh, if you let this CEO, this white guy out, why can't you let Diddy out? Right.
Because it's no surprise that if you're black in America, you're held to a different standard.
Right.
Which is even more reason as to why you have to keep a very clean disposition about yourself. Because this country is not fair to people of color. It's just not. It is what it is. It's not. We saw it in this election. We know what it is. So it's like when you are blessed to be in these positions and you worked your butt off to get to that level, do right by it.
Do you think it's over for Diddy? Like, do you think it's over for him?
I mean, I think, I don't want to say it's over for anyone because we ultimately...
Career-wise, I mean. Career-wise.
I think his legacy has been tainted to a point where I don't think it can rebound and have the impact that it once had. I think it's going to be very difficult for him.
Yeah.
But at this point, I don't even think, like, he should care about that. I don't even think he should worry about that. I think for him, he needs to worry about just making peace with himself, making peace with his kids, making peace with like people that he wronged.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I wouldn't even give a damn about my career at this point.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like if I, you know, have did any inkling of what they said, maybe not all of it is true, but if any parts of it, like we know the video is true of him abusing Cassie, right? So like, even in that respect, you know, I will focus on like, how can I be a better human being to myself and then my family and forget about everything else? Like, I wouldn't even care to have this career. Like, you know what I mean? I wouldn't care about my reputation at this point. I would just be caring about being a better person to myself, my family, and to society. That's what I would care about.
Right. Well, one of the things that the prosecution said is that he had launched or he had kind of put together this social media campaign on his birthday.
I saw that.
To sort of sway the opinion of the public. And I mean, the video was beautiful, right? Because that baby girl, who is adorable, was on there saying happy birthday to him. So, which, you know, I thought about that. I was like, okay, was that wrong? If he had told his kids, make this video, I don't know that he did. That's what the prosecution was alleging. But would that have been so wrong with the media painting on the other side certain things?
No, that wouldn't have been wrong because the prosecution is doing the exact same thing.
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
So I'm like,
so like they're painting him out to be a horrible person.
It was just a happy birthday video. So and
it's not wrong of him. No, because they're doing the same. They're doing the same tactics.
Not the birthday video.
They're doing the same tactics.